Yay! We did it. It's always so exciting. Hi guys, how you doing? We are live. Let me just do my little share. As you're jumping on, say hello to me. Let me know that you're here. If you're watching the replay, say replay love in the comments below as I just go ahead and give this, do my little routine here. All through the city. Cause I got that sunshine in my pocket, so at my feet. Ooh! Okay, I got quite a flip going on today. In the saga of Amanda learning to have short hair again, you guys are going to see all sorts of things, so get used to it. All right, I want to talk real quick, just coming live real quick, totally unannounced, totally impromptu, but I was inspired by some trouble I saw some of my friends having with grains, okay? And so I want to introduce you to something. First of all, if you don't know me yet, if this is the first time you're seeing me, welcome to my page. I'm Amanda Heisman, intuitive nutrition and energy coach. I help you eat more intuitively and eat for energy so that you can use that intuition and energy to build a life that you love. I also explore the spiritual and emotional sides of nourishment, and I have a group called Intuitive Eating for Energy, free support group that you're totally welcome to. And I channel the needs of the nourishment body. I see into the body and what's going on with it. And I want to give a practical tip today because there's kind of like mixed information out there about grains. Grains are really good for you. Whole grains, right? It gets confusing because we are sold something that's called grains, refined grains, which are not great for us. So whole grains has three things. It has a bran, an endosperm, and a germ, and these three things together make up a whole grain. When it goes through the refining process, they strip two out of those three components and still try to call it a grain, and then your body's kind of always going, hey, where's the other stuff? Give us the other stuff. Okay, so that's a crash course in whole grains, but there's plenty of whole grains for us out there. You'll hear me talk about oats, oat groats. You'll hear me talk about quinoa. You'll hear me talk about brown rice, and there's so many others out there. Amaranth. There's beans, there's lentil, those are legumes, not whole grains, but plenty of things for us to eat. But the thing I want to show you today, I've traveled around the world last year. I've been in a lot of kitchens of a lot of loved ones and different people, and I noticed that something maybe only about a third of us actually have in the kitchen is dun, 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 a grain strainer. Right? So this is different than a colander. This is a grain strainer, like with this mesh, makes tiny, tiny, tiny holes in the device. Right? So this is for soaking and straining grains. Different traditions and different cultures they do have the tradition, they are in the practice of soaking grains for meals and especially for like big meals and holidays and things like that. We're not in the practice. I did not grow up seeing people soak grains. A lot of us in Western cultures in the United States aren't in the practice of seeing anyone soak grains, but it can be a major step, step up in your health. Why? Why can it help you so much, especially if you don't digest things with ease? As you guys are joining, say hi. Hi, who's here? I'm Amanda. So soaking your grains releases, all whole grains have phytic acid or an inhibitor enzyme kind of on the surface. And when you soak them, it's kind of that first step towards sprouting. So soaking them for a number of hours, depends on the grain, anywhere between 1 hour and 8 hours usually, can release that chemical, release that enzyme. And that chemical, that phytic acid, it makes the digestion process harder, and it also limits the nutrient absorption. So it's really great if we can take the time to soak our grains and to allow that phytic acid to release. So if you've ever cooked your quinoa or your oats without rinsing them or soaking them, you'll see kind of that like frothy stuff bubble up, those bubbles and that froth. That's what's happening. And so even if you don't soak them, I invite you to like kind of skim off that froth when you're cooking them. So quinoa is one that only needs like an hour or two of soaking. Most other grains like the rice and like the beans, the lentils, the things like that are going to be more recommended 8 to 9 hours. And oats are kind of in the middle, like around 4. This is easily findable on the internet, but I can post a chart for you guys if you're interested in knowing which grains need how many hours of soaking. So there's soaking so that you can then cook it, and then there's sprouting, which is what happens if you continue the process, right? So we can buy sprouts at the store where they've already sprouted it for us, which are amazing for your health, because that sprout, if you think about it, that seed or whatever it is you're sprouting, that's the power that's where all the power is. That's where the creative power is, in the seed. So when we sprout it, it's making it so much easier on digestion. But even if you're not sprouting it, like that's the next step, right? Even if you're not sprouting, definitely take a look at getting one of these grain strainers. You can put this in a bowl, like so that you can soak it, and easily put this in a bowl. And even if you're not gonna like if you're running late or something and you don't have time to soak your quinoa, hey Connie, if you don't have time to soak your quinoa, even just rinsing it is good. This is a simple thing to do that's gonna upgrade your health. So even just rinsing off that frothy phytic acid residue is going to really help there be maximum nutrient absorption when you're digesting. Okay, so this is super cheap, you guys. Like, I don't think I paid more than $4 for this. You'll see it from anywhere from like $2.99 to $19.99 in the stores or online, depending on the material and everything, and if it has a fancy grip and whatnot, and how big or small it is. But this is an easy and cheap tool in the kitchen to upgrade your health. And think about, it doesn't have to be difficult. You can put the grains out in the morning to soak real easily when you're doing your morning stuff, and then come back in the evening or do it at lunch or whatever. So, 1 hour is even better than no hours. Okay? Definitely rinse them off after you've soaked them and get all the residue off, and then go about cooking them the way you know. Like, we've become so used to doing things quick and as quickly as possible that we've kind of lost this practice, at least in our culture we have. And so I invite us to invite it back in and see how it affects your digestion. I bet that it will be, that you will have better digestion once you start soaking your grains again. Okay? I love you guys. Tell me about your grain strainers. Tell me about your soaking. How many of you are sprouting? Have you tried that adventure? Tell me where you're at, what you're doing, where you're at, where you are. I love you, and I will see you again soon. Bye.